Hey everyone, once again. Welcome back to another movie review. And now for this one, doing on the next animated film that I guess that a lot of people don't talk about that much. And and I don't know why, but I like the film overall. This film I haven't seen in a long time, and I got the DVD and I enjoy once again just watching. So now this is what I have here is a double feature. Contains the first film and the sequel, and this is to Balto. And you can see it contains the sequel right there, Balto 2, Wolf Quest. And Balto, the first one, I always enjoyed. It's just like another a film, an anime film, I guess pretty much forgotten about. Because I don't, well, because I don't hear a bunch of people talking about it, but it's also but it's also that it's directed it's released by Amblimation Entertainment, what just was produced by Amblimation Entertainment, so it's produced by Steven Spielberg, so the first film is. And it's also like when it came out, it was the last film that released by Amblin Entertainment. But then they also make for anime films called Amblimation. So Amblimation, that's like the last film that this film released, because it released like 3 movies and that was it. It was the first one it released was a sequel to American Tail, to what was the main character's name? Fabro. He goes west, and then we're back at Dinosaur Story, and then this film. So I don't know why they just didn't make more though, because I guess the 3 films were not that well. This film wasn't that big of a hit, and we're back at Dinosaur Story wasn't that big of a hit either, and so the ones that were mostly successful was the sequel to American Tail. So that's too bad. Because I could see because now we have Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks Animation. I just like to see probably would like to ever seen all 3 of those films. I wish that they could have made Amblimation could have made more films. I guess like maybe I don't know why, but that's just too bad though. But the first director, Balto, for the first one, was directed by a guy named Simon Wells. He's directed, well, he was a co-director on a lot of films. One of them, of course, was We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. Let's look more about this guy's directed. Because I know he was a co-director on a lot of films. Like We're Back, A Dinosaur Story was one of them. The sequel, American Tail, Fevel, I think it was the main character's name, Goes West. He was co-director on that. He directed this film alone. He was one of the co-directors of DreamWorks' The Prince of Egypt, and he directed a live-action film in 2002 called The Time Machine. It starred Guy Pearce. And of course, in 2011, he directed one of the most biggest box office bombs ever. Called Disney's Mars Needs Moms. Which I still have not seen. But I've seen the trailer though. I could understand why that film was a huge total bust. But Simon Wells, he directed that film, so. But he's also been like a writer, story editor, and stuff in a lot of films. And like I said, this was also executive producers Steven Spielberg on the first one. And you have a good voice cast as well. You have well, that's one of the highlights. Kevin Bacon, Tremors and Footloose. He voices Balto. Other voice cast, you have the late Bob Hoskins playing as Boris, the goose friend of Balto. Bridget Fonda as Jenna, the dog that Balto likes, and Other ones, Jim Cummings, who's voiced on a lot of TV shows and films, you know, as this dog named Steel, and Phil Collins, really enough, voices Muck and Luck, which they're two polar bears, you know. Yeah, Phil Collins voices, you know. And when the film came out, it didn't really do that well. It was released in around the Christmas time in December in 1995, and it opened up at number 15, you know, and it made total like $11 million, and so the film was not that big of a hit, sadly, you know. But there are some positives, you know, but it has a high rating on IMDb. It has a 7.0 on IMDb. I think that's good though. But reception wise on Rotten Tomatoes has given a 50% though, which I don't understand. Although looking up, it said that Roger Ebert, he gave it a positive review. He gave the film 3 out of 4 stars. He's saying that a kid's movie simply told and with a lot of excitement and characters you can care about. And then also despite haven't made that much money, the film has gained a cult following over the years, you know. So that's good. And it also said that the Balto is based on true story. Was there was a real life dog named Balto, you know, because there is in the park of New York there is a memorial statue of Balto, you know. And there was also a historical event that also took place in that time, which is true enough, which I'll tell, you know. So, yeah, what is going to be in the story. So, but yeah, I enjoy Balto, but just getting into the story now. It opens up. And of course, the opening is live action, so what takes place in the we'll get to that. It says isn't currently at the present day, but it'll go back to the past, you know, because they say in New York City that there is a little girl walking with her little dog, and she's with her grandmother, and they're they're looking for something that's a memoriam, you know, which of course you know probably seen it as the memorial statue of Balto, you know. And so they said they're gonna give themselves a rest. So they sit down. So they have a sit down, and grandmother tells a story about in Nome, Alaska, which that's what happened back in 1925. Now it goes from live action to animation, you know. So Bill goes in Nome in 1925 in Nome, Alaska. Now we get to our character Balto, who was born dog, and he's half dog and half wolf. And his friend who takes care of him, Boris, voiced by Bob Hoskins, the late Bob Hoskins. Balto, voiced by Kevin Bacon, you know. Balto, he wants to, you know, wants to be in this. He likes to like being racist though, but in the town, also by people in the town and by other dogs, you know, he gets made fun of, you know, because he's half breed, you know, he's part wolf, you know, he's not really much of a dog, but he's mostly wolf. They make fun of him for that, you know. And he says you can't be, and also make fun of him because he can never be on a sled team because of that, you know. He gets made fun of a lot, especially one sled dog named Steel, voiced by Jim Cummings. He's a sled dog, you know. He's like this. He's a very egotistical sled dog. He thinks he's always, you know, I have all the other girls think he's so great, and all his other friends think he's great, you know. And he's like, he has a very big ego, you know. Think he sees better than everybody else, you know. Especially better than Balto, because he's the one who mostly makes fun of Balto because what he is, you know, and you know. But and also, but then also that Balto he likes a dog, one of the dogs, which is a little girl named Rosie. She has a dog named Jenna, voiced by Bridget Fonda, which who I like in Lake Placid, you know. Um, Jenna she also kind of also likes Balto though, but Steve always makes sure that he wants Jenna, but not and make sure she does not be with him, you know. And that's how poorly he treats Balto, you know. He's always acting in such an a-hole, you know. And when he tried to retrieve the girl's little Rosie's hat that blows off, Balto tries to gets it back, you know. But that's when Steele makes fun of him for that, you know. Well, not for getting that, but just for what he is. And Boris is always just talking to him, you know. Tries to help him though, but it doesn't do any good because he always doesn't do any good at all though. But and Boris, he has he's like a sweet with a Russian accent. He's a goose with a Russian accent, you know. Um, and it was whether the rest of this little halfway tipped over ship though, and they have those two polar bears, Muck and Luck, voiced by Phil Collins. um, um, what else is there? What happens like earlier during the night, you know, that I guess this is like a whole historical thing that that happened. Well, start getting sick, you know, including Rosie, you know, and the pharmacist or the doctor has concluded what was it called what they said diphtheria, you know. Yeah, so like all the children of the town have gotten sick from this, you know, and they have no of the special medicines to treat it, you know. So they sent a message, and they couldn't get it by ship or by air. So the first they get to take it by train, but they'll a sled dog team to go and retrieve it, you know. So they have this like a sort of like a race, you know, let all these dogs who's the fastest to make it on the sled team, you know. And Balto, he wants to prove himself that he wants to be on it, so he goes and enters the race. And at the end of it, is the fastest. He gets there first. He finishes first. He wants to be on the team, but since Steele is such pretty much an a-hole or should I say asshole, you know, he gets him disqualified by stepping on his foot, you know, and making the other people think he's vicious, you know, because his part wolf part, you know. So yeah. So the Steele goes and takes the sled team out. So they get the medicine, and it's very stormy, you know. And they end to get lost, but Steele keeps saying that he's not lost because he has such a big ego, you know. He doesn't want to be made a fool of, you know. And he ends up leading the sled team, you know, down the icy slope. The driver gets knocked out unconscious, and they're stuck there. And since then, the children there at the hospital have gotten worse. Like a scene where well, earlier before that well, I'll get to it later, but Balto, since no one has returned and the children have gotten worse, still he wants to go out. He wants to go out there and find the medicine himself, you know. And Boris first says he doesn't doesn't want to though, but Balto shows him all the sick children, you know, and Boris is like, okay, let's go get the medicine. and Balto says, oh, now you're coming, and Boris is like, what about a freezing cold and the vicious animals? And what was another line? I forgot. What was the line? It was like battling freezing cold, animals, and you know, I guess like freezing death again. I guess and he's like, it's like it's like taking holiday back home, you know. Yeah, I like Bob Hoskins. He did a good job voicing. You know, it's too bad he's now no longer with us. You know, but Bob Hoskins, he'll be really missed. Um, so him, but Boris and the Muck and Luck, they're all set out to go and find them, and Balto he goes and marks the trail, so like scratching on the trees, you know, to mark as the trail to find their way back. Jenna sniffs out Balto and follows them as well. And while they're walking, you know, like Muck and Luck, they try like throwing snowballs, and Boris was getting angry. Then all of a sudden this black bear shows up, you know, and attacks them. Balto tries to fight him off, and he's getting pushed down. Then Jenna comes in, starts to fight find the black bear. Which they said it was a grizzly bear, but from the look of it, it's a completely black bear, you know. And Balto gets thrown onto the ice, and the ice starts cracking as the bear starts walking on it. Then of course the ice cracks and the bear falls in. Balto falls in as well. Muck and Luck, they all jump in to save him because they're polar bears, you know. They can swim, which they said they didn't know how to swim, you know. But they save Balto anyway, and the Balto wants Jenna to go back, you know, like as she was like slightly hurt, I guess, then he wants everyone else to take her back to the town, and he'll go himself. So before that, Jenna gives him her scarf, and he sets out, and he does find the sled and the dogs, you know, and of course Steel. You know, he refuses to accept help, you know, because he's it's because he's a jerk. That's plain and simple. That's what he is, an egotistical jerk, you know. And Balto doesn't want to fight, but Steel pushes him, throws him around. And he gets back up, throws him around. He still gets back up, you know. And that's what how. You probably know how you don't like. This is probably people don't like Steel because, you know, he cares more about fighting about Balto than getting the medicine back to the children, you know, because he cares more about that than medicine to the children, getting to the children, you know. But then he falls out. He falls down the cliff, clinging onto taking with Jenna's scarf with him, you know, and he falls down the cliff, and Balto takes all the rest of the sled, the dogs, and the sled with the medicine, and they're on their way in. But Steel, of course, he goes and messes up their trail on purpose, you know, by scratching more into trees, trying to confuse them, you know, which it does. Balto, he gets getting lost, but he falls down a cliff with the medicine though, and while he's down there, you know, there's this white wolf. That stands in front of him, you know, and Balto, you know, he doesn't want because, you know, because it's part wolf, you know, half wolf, you know, he doesn't want to though. But he gets reminded that Boris's voice said that, you know, saying that, you know, it's not just dog that will make this journey, but the wolf can, you know. So he does you know, gets into half of his wolf side, and he howls, you know, and so does the other white wolf, and he takes the box of medicine, all climbing up all the way back to the cliff, and all the other dogs, the sled dogs, like, oh wow, look at him, you know. So and they're all impressed and everything. So they get the medicine, and they start mushing again, you know, and all that. Before that, Steel, he gets to the town first, telling a big lie about. The other dog's a big lie about what Balto, you know, thinking that he's the only hero. He tried to save them, you know. And it's like typical villainous will, you know, try to be the hero, you know, but it just ends up getting backfired on him, you know. Because then when Balto and the dogs, they're running, you know, and one of the dogs accidentally sneezes and it causes an avalanche, so they all run to this cave. And as they're walking through the cave, like, you know when they pass up through one of these clear ices, they make images, you know, funny faces, you know. One dog like puts That was funny because one dog stands in front of this ice, and makes like an imitation of E.T., the big head and the skinny neck, going oh with this, with a finger, Yeah, the male phone was like made like him standing in front of the ice makes him look like E.T., So, but then all this all the cave teeth, whatever they call it, start falling, but they managed to get through anyway, they with all in one piece. And Jenna, she gets an idea to help him find the way back. She take all these this is what Balto showed her earlier, underneath the hospital. We take all these broken glass and you put it in front of some light, and it creates like northern lights, So she kind of does that to help him find their way back, and she also Balto does, of course, he goes on the right trail, and sees, of course, he corrects himself from what Steele did with all the trees markings, he corrects himself, and he heads back and sees the northern lights, knowing that she did, and he howls, and everyone is hearing, and was Steele. Everyone, when they hear that Balto's back with the medicine, and they all look at Steele in disgust, and that he's a big fat liar, and they'll just leave him, So they may give the medicine back, and everyone, including the people as well, they see him as a hero, And Balto goes inside and sees Rosie, and says, "Thank you, Balto. I would have been lost without you, And everyone looking at him as a hero, and then it goes back into back to the present, which really the old lady was Rosie, She's looking at the statue of Balto, and she says the same thing that she said to him years ago, "Thank you, Balto. Would have been lost without you, And then the film ends with the camera looking at the statue of Balto, And then during the credits has that song, which I like that song, was as the credits are going, called "Reach the Light" by Steve Winwood. And I do kind of like that song, So yeah, I do as the credits are playing, And I also do like the score, also the main score by James Horner as well, So yeah, I do enjoy Balto, So I've always enjoyed Balto. As a film like this doesn't get talked about much anymore. Well, from what I hear around, And the film was on for 77 minutes, but it goes at a decent pace. It didn't drag on. And the voice cast, like Kevin Bacon. I think this was the only film that Kevin voiced in a movie. Voiced in an animated movie. I think that's the only time he did a voicing. I don't remember any other films that he did voicing though, but Kevin Bacon, he did a really good job, because I like Kevin Bacon as an actor. Love him in Tremors, Footloose, Hollow Man, and on all the other films that he's done, And I always enjoyed Kevin Bacon as an actor, and I always will, and he did a really good job voicing as Balto. Phil Collins. Yeah, so I just find Phil Collins voicing, goes from singer and voicing, As Muck and Luck, he was good, Phil Collins. Bridget Fonda, she was fine as Jenna. Jim Cummings as Steele. Yeah, Steele. Yeah, you just looking at the character Steele, you just want to hate the character, for being such an asshole, But especially Bob Hoskins as Boris. I enjoy Bob Hoskins. I liked him how he voiced in voiced Boris in this. He had fun. He had a lot of fun. He had funny moments in it. Not a lot of funny moments, as I was gonna say. He had funny moments in voicing, but he was all still good voicing as the character of Boris. And I miss Bob Hoskins, you know. So he did a good job voicing Boris. Um. And when I was looking in the film was the deal in the live action part is the old woman who played the older Rose. She looked familiar, so I just want to look up what the film she's had. Oh yeah, the woman as old Rose, Miriam Margolyes. Yeah, I thought she looked familiar. She was in Cats and Dogs. She was the first Cats and Dogs film. She was the maid, you know, taking care of with Mr. Tinkles, you know. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember her. She had a role in End of Days as the woman who was taking care of the girl who was chosen, you know. She had a moment where she was beating up Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, with a piano and everything, you know, and Arnold slammed her into the glass table. Yeah, that was her, you know, and she has also some voice roles as well, you know. Just looking back, yeah, that's alright. She voiced in Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. She was she voices Mrs. P, you know, the snake, Soren's nursemaid, the snake, you know. You know, like, you know, Mrs. P, you might be the first snake ever to fly. Like, oh, I think I am, you know. Yeah. So I thought that was familiar as well. So yeah, she was. I guess she was not. She was not that much, of course, only at the beginning, at the end though. But I guess she was fine as well. And I like Cats and Dogs. I love Legend of the Guardians. Um, and I love End of Days. You know. Of course, there's also seen that she's appeared in some of the Harry Potter films as well. You know. But yeah, I always enjoyed Balto. This is a good film of the '90s. You know, I wish that Amblimation would have made more films. You know. But oh well, you know, this is too bad. You know, but the directed from Simon Wells, I could say this is better than from Mars Needs Moms. Yeah, I know, even though I still haven't seen it, but looking at it from the trailer Mars Needs Moms, I was never interested in Mars Needs Moms. It's hard to say the name. It sounds like a tongue twister, you know. I could say, but looking at the trailer, I could say that Balto looks better than Mars Needs Moms. And of course, including some of the films that he's co-directed, like We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. I do like We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, you know. But I do enjoy Balto, and the voice cast is what pretty much what made it work, you know. Kevin Bacon, Bob Hoskins, Bridget Fonda, Phil Collins. I do like I said before, I do like the score by James Horner, and I do like that song that played at the end during the credits, you know, called "Reach for the Light." Which one more to say? Yeah, but 50. I don't understand why this has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Though, heck, it has a low score on that though, but it has a higher score on IMDb, which I think is better. You know, has a 7.0 on IMDb. I think it's good. And like I said, with the things with what happened during the true story events, you know, um, there was, of course, I know there were some, looking at, there was historical differences, you know, but if you want to know what those differences are, you can look it up what those differences are, you know. Yeah, there was a real life Balto. There was that with the incident what happened in Nome, Alaska in 1925 with the sickness and trying to get that medicine, you know. And had a dog sled team, you know, try to get the medicine back to the town, you know. Those were parts of the true story, but there was some differences, like some differences with Balto, thinking they said that he was not really the hero. There was another dog, I believe, named Togo, I think, who also helped most of it. But if the story was based on true, it was true, it was true, I know most parts of the true, I mean, to the truth though, but it was based on a true story, so yeah, at least they got most of the story right, with Balto and that mess and incident, Yeah, but yeah. And so yeah, that's my review for the first film, Balto, and hopefully I'll get to the sequel. So the next one you'll be seeing is Balto 2 Wolf Quest, and of course so of course came out with another sequel, Balto 3. Forget what was it. I forget what the other title was though, but of course none of the original cast comes back. So you have a whole new voice cast of the characters in the 2 and 3. So yeah, that's too bad, but of course Kevin Bacon, I can understand why he doesn't want to come back and do more, but still. But that's my review for Balto, the first Balto, 1995. And if you still haven't seen Balto, you can have a look. Kevin Bacon still does a good job as Balto, and all the other voice cast as well. Like I said, but Bob Hoskins, Bridget Fonda. Yeah, hopefully probably find it funny with the voices with Bill Collins as well, But yeah, so that's my review for Balto. Thanks for watching, and take care. Stay tuned for the next movie review, and hopefully I'll get to the sequel, Balto 2. So yeah, and if you still, like I said, if you still haven't seen, if you haven't seen Balto, just go and check it out for yourself. If you like it, you don't like it though, but for the most part, I think you'll pretty much enjoy Balto though. I know I did. It was good seeing the film once again, Like I said before, I don't think it's a film that hardly gets talked about anymore though, but anyway, but if you still haven't checked it out, but if you still haven't seen it, go check it out for yourself though. So yep, that's my review for Balto. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.